Hello and welcome to another Minute with Matt. I'm Matt with New Life Church. We're going to continue our short Bible studies on the book of Matthew. This time we're starting in chapter 11. Verse 1 says, "Now it came to pass, when Jesus finished commanding his 12 disciples, they departed from there to teach and preach in their cities. And when John had heard in prison the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples and said to them, 'Are you the coming one, or do we look for another?'" Now that's an interesting thing. If you think about it, who is John the Baptist? John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin. John the Baptist was the guy who was preaching in the wilderness, baptizing people. John the Baptist was the guy who pointed to the crowd and said, "Behold, the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world." John the Baptist is the guy who baptized Jesus. John the Baptist heard a voice calling from heaven, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased." But now he's sending his disciples to ask, "Are you the one, or should we look for another?" See, sometimes we have a tendency to forget in the darkness what we heard in the light. You see, since that time, John has been arrested, put in prison, and the prison that they had back then were not very good. So he's locked up in this cell, pacing back and forth, wondering, why am I in here? All I was doing is preaching the truth. I mean, what? How could this happen to me? I'm a man of God. I'm supposed to start a church. All these different things in his mind going on. You know, he's thinking, I'm here because of the Messiah, because of Jesus. He's the Messiah. He's my cousin. Why do you have to be my cousin? So he just wanted to be reassured. He wasn't as sure anymore. You know, sometimes when we're going through a trial, we lose the assurance that we had in church. You know, you're at church, you feel God has wanted you to do something, but then you leave the church, you know, somewhere between the altar and the door, and the assurance is gone. He's not around the people of God all the time, though he was able to contact his disciples. But he doesn't have them, get to see them all the time. And so he sends them to ask that question. And so, verse 4, Jesus answered that and said to them, "Go and tell John the things which you hear and see." So what happened is they come and Jesus is preaching and healing and all that, and they tell him, and then he says, "Oh, tell him what you're hearing and seeing." Verse 5, "The blind and the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised, and the poor of the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who is not offended because of me." You know, they had that assurance now because they've seen it, and they were able to tell John. You know, everyone needs encouragement sometimes. Even John the Baptist needed encouragement. The thing we need to remember is even when we're going through a hard trial, we can get assurance from God. Maybe we won't be able to go and see him physically, like he's able to send his disciples to do it, but we can pray to him, we can read his word. And God will give us that assurance. He loves us, and he wants us to serve him, and he wants us to know that we really are serving the true God, the creator of the universe. He's the one that we need to serve, and he doesn't leave us alone. He will not leave us comfortless. He is with us always. That's something we always need to remember. That He can give us the assurance that we need. I hope this has been a blessing. See you next time.